Welcome to episode 10. This episode is going to be something a little different, something a little special. No, I'm joking. It's going to be about my story of how I became a coach and how my own life has influenced me to my approach to coaching people. And then also I'll end with kind of my missions, my goals, my ambitions. This is something that I want to do for a while, but I suppose it's just a little bit, to be honest, it's a bit awkward for me. It's much easier for me to sit here and speak about, fat loss, optimal health, muscle building, something like that. Speaking about myself is a bit more, don't know what to say, don't want to really talk about it, but it's important because I want to, first of all, I want to be transparent. Second of all, I really want to connect with my clients, my followers, and anyone that's interested in what I'm doing. And lastly, I want to be able to look back on this. I want to be able to, after my journey or a few years down the road, I can look back and say, Jesus, that was me. That's where I kind of started as such, with this kind of, the whole body full thing's a new thing, right? So I'd love to be able to, I'm thinking back now of where I began as a coach, and I'd love to have something like this. So I'm doing it a bit for me as well. Where it all began was, I'm from Trimley, Dublin. I'm one of 6. There's like 10 years between all the kids, so quite close, and we are very close as a family. Even with like aunts and uncles and grandparents, all kind of, a lot of us live in Trimley and Crumlin, so growing up we were all very close, very grateful for that, to be honest. Family is like number one kind of value, to be honest. I was never really into sports growing up, and I was never really into skill growing up. I think, to be honest, I just didn't apply myself. I didn't really have a lot of direction, to be honest, and like one of my core wounds, we're going into that, one of my core wounds is never feeling good enough, not being good enough. So like with that, I think I developed a protection mechanism, and that was like not applying myself, not really caring, because I think, I've done a bit of work with counselling and stuff like that, and I kind of came to the conclusion that when I was younger, I never really applied myself to anything to protect myself, because the pain of losing, the pain of failing an exam, or the pain of not making the team, or wherever it might be, would be, I wanted to avoid that. It'd be too much to handle essentially, or I just didn't have the skills to handle that, the pain of failing. There is a few points in my childhood, but I'm not getting into that now. But essentially I just never applied myself. And then with that came no direction, not really caring about anything, and then I lost my way. I started, as a teenager, I started drinking, I started partying, smoking, just doing all the rebel stuff, And with that mindset, you have no direction. You're not focused on anything. You don't really have any goals or ambitions. And yeah, I suppose I kind of lost my way a bit, I was hanging around with the wrong people. I was partying more and more, drinking, smoking. You'd start a party on a Friday, wouldn't end till a Sunday. Then I got into Thursday drinking, and then partying all the weekend, maybe, just go on and on and on. And I'm still a teenager at this, still in school and stuff. So just got crazy, to be honest, how I was hiding from my parents and everything. But I was lucky when I was 18, I asked my dad for a membership in the gym. And then I started going in January. A few of the lads were going to the gym. 2 in particular kind of stuck with it. We had a lot of us that went, but as with most Januaries, people fall off, right? But me and 2 of my other mates, we kind of took it serious, and then obviously we're gym bros and kind of became best mates because we're just in the gym every day. Very lucky about this gym because we knew 2 or 3 of the PTs, and also my mate worked in the gym. So very, very good, very, very lucky. After a few weeks, we were onto them and asking them about programming, asking them about diet, lifestyle, all this good jazz at a very, very young age. Most people are kind of spinning their wheels for a year or so, And then also, we didn't have social media the way we do now. You can't find high quality information, back in those days as easy. So it was much, much harder to get really good information. But we got lucky. We knew the PTs. Start seeing great progress. Soon enough you start to see great progress, more progress than other people that are spinning their wheels. And I suppose this is what kind of, I had a passion for the exercise, I had direction for the first time in my life. And I suppose when you meet these PTs and they're giving you this advice, I don't know, I just kind of looked up to them, and I just felt that's what I wanted to become. So went to college then in that September. Studied health and fitness. Again, got advice off the personal trainers. They were telling me, don't do one of those short courses. They're no use. You need to lay your foundations. I suppose when I was also looking back, these coaches had really good ethics, really good morals, you know. There was a high standard, and I'm like blessed that I just had these people in my life, because the path they laid out for me for my education was exactly what I feel I should have done. It's crazy. So I done a course that was like 2 years. I also done add-on courses like Pilates and other workshops, so that after 1 year I was qualified to to work in a gym, because I was insurable, but I could also teach the classes that most gyms required. So after 1 year then, I was working in a gym and then I was studying. So this was giving me the theory in college, but also the practical experience, the real life experience in the gym. So I was in the gym and studying it every day, all day. And I loved it, you know. After that year, I went to Brazil for a few months. Then I came home and I wanted to become a PT then. That was the plan, to start PTing. Education in the bag, lots of experience in the bag. I felt ready. So I asked my mate who was working in the gym when we started, but now he's the manager. And he said, listen, Ciarán, we're full with personal trainers at the moment. Give me your CV, I'll put your name out there. And he's just said to me as well, like, go looking yourself. But one day I got a phone call off my mate and he said to me, Ciarán, I need you to cover a Pilates class for me. And I was like, I knew this gym, there's like 40 people doing the class, and I was like, oh Jesus, I can't teach 40 people Pilates. Like, I only taught a few classes with 5 or 10 people. Like, and he was like, listen, if you want to PT in this gym, you need to cover this class. He said most PTs don't have Pilates qualifications. This happens often enough, and we're always stuck for people to cover this Pilates classes. So he said, if you do this class, I'll put your name in with senior management and you're going to be in the good books. You're going to have leverage essentially, right? So he picked me up. He knew I wasn't working as well. So like, he basically just didn't let it happen. Like, he didn't let me slide. He was stuck for a Pilates instructor and he knew I was available. So yeah, he picked me up. I taught the class. And then a few weeks later, I was working in the gym. Again, another big win was that Pilates paid a lot more than teaching boot camps or spin classes or boxercise. So I was renting in the gym and I could teach a few classes, but when I taught Pilates, I paid like triple what I got for the other classes. So hour for hour, I could do 3 less hours or 3 less classes than other coaches because I taught Pilates. And it was just wonderful because I had so much more time, and also I got a lot of clients from Pilates when I first started out. When I first started out, it helped me a hell of a lot, because again, that was like my unique selling point. That was what made Ciarán different than the other coaches. I would highly recommend to every coach and every person to try Pilates and yoga. Figure out which sits better with you, what you like more, and definitely get into those worlds. They're whole different worlds of exercise. Super important for overall mobility, strength, flexibility. Really good for the mind and the body. Get on it. Then as I kept coaching, naturally I was super passionate. I had a lot of spare time. I was just working all the time, working 7 days a week. And then I started getting busier and busier and busier, as you do. I was super, super lucky that my business was completely ran off referrals and then people that saw me in the gym, word of mouth, that type of thing. I didn't have a website, didn't have a sales process, no marketing, nothing at all. It was basically people would see me in the gym or people would hear about me, contact me, and then we'd sign up. A very basic business model. I got it off another PT. It was like 1 session, 2 session, 3 session per week, 6-week blocks. These are the 3 prices. Bam, buy it or don't. You know, it's just very, very straightforward, simpler times. And you miss them now, to be honest. There was no real need for me to spend time, energy, effort on the business side of things, and I could completely focus on the coaching. I feel sorry for so many coaches nowadays that 1, they don't spend any time on a gym floor. 2, they have to get into this whole marketing, Instagram, selling themselves so young. And 3, they just don't earn their stripes over a solid period of time. Everybody wants to be that coach without actually earning it. It's so much more rewarding when you just do it step by step by step, earn the stripes. Even with my clients now, it's something that I say to my clients all the time. Earn your stripes, lay the foundation, build on that. There is no shortcuts. That's just the bottom line in life. So with that being said, I was constantly upskilling because the only thing I had to focus on was becoming the best coach. All my money was just being reinvested back into upskilling, learning. From a young age, I'm quite intense. My mates call me Ciarán, 100% Foley. I've always been this way. I really want to know, like, why? I want to have that understanding. I really, with things that I'm passionate about, like, I'll just keep reading, I'll go. Give me all the podcasts, the books, the seminars. I've just been like that. I think, like I said, growing up, I didn't have any direction. I didn't have any major desire to become anything. But once I found the gym, this was just like an obsession, complete obsession. So very, very lucky to get all this education, but really felt as if I became a top class coach. And to be 100% honest with you, I was focusing way too much on the physical and not enough on the mental or the spiritual. And even though I was obsessed and I loved what I was doing, that was complete my passion, my calling, whatever you want to call it, there's still missing pieces to the puzzle. I wasn't feeling, I don't know, like you could call it, like, just wasn't feeling enough, I suppose. That core wound came back, never feeling good enough. So I reached out to my sister. She was going through her own things and both of us connected holistically. We were doing a lot of meditation. She was studying Reiki at the time, and at the time that resonated with me, so we were doing that together. I was working with a counsellor and I was doing a thing called TRE, trauma release exercises, and we went off, done a few workshops on that, and we just kind of really connected on that. I went off and done a lot more counselling around this time, and it really did help me. That was the first time in my life when I kind of got the mental, the spiritual, and I'm still doing the physical. So it was the first time in my life where I kind of had that 360 holistic approach. Then I stopped the counselling and I got my first online coach, and that was Mark Coles. I chose him because me and my mate went over to Nottingham a good few times studying in MI40. And I was big into the bodybuilding still at this stage, and Mark was like, the whole gym was just like seen as a very, very good place. So I just said I'd get Mark. I think I worked with him for 3-4 months. It wasn't a long time. Worked with him for a small amount of time, and then I was still in these bodybuilding circles, you know, flying to Manchester to do seminars, London, Amsterdam, and I came across Jordan Peters, trained by JP. And this was back in the day before he had a supplement clothing company. This is when he was just kind of not starting out as a coach, but I don't think he had many pros. I don't think he wasn't as big as what he is now anyways. I started working with him. I think I was working for him for like a total of 2.5 years. Jordan was seen as like one of these apex people, you know, every kind of industry, every niche has like the apex, right? And quite quickly I realized that a lot of other coaches are essentially just copy and pasting what Jordan is saying and doing and giving it out. And I just looked at that as a dilution method. You know, they were just diluting it down and then selling it, putting their own twist on it and selling it. But I felt it was never as good as what Jordan was saying. So that's why I actually worked with Jordan. It was expensive, but I felt it was an investment in my career. And then also I did have a kind of a goal to do a bodybuilding show, compete in one sense. Like most coaches, you know, all coaches want to get to a stage where they're doing endurance events. You know, nowadays high rocks, CrossFit was big, powerlifting, bodybuilding. Most professionals get into something, you know, they compete at some level. And mine was bodybuilding. So I decided to do a bodybuilding show. When was it now? I think it was like the end of 2016. Yeah, end of 2016. I think it was around that we decided, okay, the end of the following year, we're going to do a show. So I had pretty much a year. Started steroids. So started off slow, then kind of built it up as the show went on. That's what you do, kind of peak up, right? Everything was going good. I was getting unbelievable results, you know, strength through the roof, recovery crazy, drive, motivation to train like nothing before. And then obviously like the weight was just piling on, body fat coming down, weight shooting up. It was just steroids work, okay? And that's why I say to most people is, you know, nature's cause and effect. And if you think you can take something like steroids and not get an effect from it, a negative effect from it, you know, you're really missing part of the puzzle. Like, you know, you're not putting it together. And I was delusional like that also. That's the truth. Like, I'm in this health and fitness space. I'm educated, I'm a professional, and still my goal of wanting to do a bodybuilding show override all the information and knowledge that I had about health and wellness. And I jumped on the cycle. And listen, everything was going great. Yes, I got some negative side effects. Everyone that takes them does, the short-term side effects. I hope I don't have any long-term side effects. Blessed what happened, because like at that stage life was going good, gearing up to do the show, work good, life good, everything good. Then in September of 2017, my sister got diagnosed with motor neuron disease. This was like, you know, probably one of the most life-changing events that happened to me. If anyone, I hope no one does, but if anyone knows someone that got diagnosed with a terminal illness, it's like a bomb going off. You know, I can't really describe the feelings that you get when it's a terminal illness. It's so crazy because like my sister Roisin was grand, everything was okay. You know, like yesterday, the week before, nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Everything's the same. She's the exact same person, right? But now you know she has a terminal illness with no cure, and that's just like what. It's crazy. And motor neuron disease is a cruel disease. There's very rare, not a lot of information around with it, and typically people die after 3 years of getting diagnosed. Roisin was 30 when she got diagnosed, and she had 3 girls. If anyone has an older sister, well, Roisin did anyways, she took on the role of kind of being like your second mother, you know. When your mum wasn't around, she was in your case. Always, always, always there for me, you know. And obviously, me being the person into health and fitness, me being the coach in the family, I took on the responsibility. No one asked me, but I had to take on this responsibility. I felt I had to take on this responsibility of like giving back to her, being with her as best as I can, getting as much information, and really trying to help her. Like it was like night and day. It was like a switch just went on. I pulled out a bodybuilding show. I stopped working with Jordan. I jumped on with another coach, Callum Rakavant, I think his name is. Butchered the name. It's Callum, top pro coach, Callum. Sorry. Worked with him just for a short period of time. Then at the time he was working with Luke Hoffman doing that Muscle Mentors thing. I think it's all gone now, but Luke Hoffman, he was like, at that time he was like the perfect coach for me. He had all this kind of like quantum biology, all this like, you know, optimal health, life hacks, like could say like alternate lifestyle, you know. But he was still a hardcore bodybuilder, and he had a lot of knowledge in that, and we studied together on lots of courses. We actually passed PATS, so I knew Luke, so I reached out to him, and me and Luke started working together, I think for, it was around 6 to 9 months. Again, he was like a mentor. He put me onto so many doctors, so many books, so many top coaches. He got me into this whole new space, and this was like the start of the new journey for me. I was done with bodybuilding. Roisin actually said to me, she made me make a promise to never take steroids again, you know. So, you know, obviously, given the situation and just the way I am as like principled, I'm a principled type of guy. So steroids out, that's that, over. never going back to doing bodybuilding, taking steroids like that again. So this was the beginning of a whole new journey for me. I went and done a Vipassana meditation course. Vipassana is like the gold standard. I was meditating for a long time before that, but like Vipassana is the gold standard. It's a 10-day noble silent meditation. You meditate for like 16 hours a day. It's pretty intense. But I'd done my first course after I got that news. Really done a 360, a 180. Really done a 180, like away from all that macho macros, bodybuilding, steroids. Just, you know, life is too short. I think when you also get news like that, you very quickly, like viscerally, you feel how precious life is, you know. It's crazy when something like that happens. Obviously, like intellectually, you know life is precious. You know that at any moment anything can happen and it can all be over. But when something like this happens, you feel it differently, on a different level. If you can try to put yourself into my shoes, what would you do if you were a coach, a health and fitness coach? You're going to do everything you can to help fight this disease, right? Most people die within 3 years. That means Roisin will pass away when she's 33. Not on my watch. You know, I'm going to do everything I can to keep Roisin alive and keep her quality of life as good as I can for as long as I can. That's just the type of person I am. I am not going to just read a summary of a study. If there's anything that I can do, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do it. There was no question in that. That's just the type of person I am, and I hope you would be too, because I stepped up when the time called me. You know, it was like a calling. I couldn't expect someone else in the family to do it when they don't have any background, they're not into it. So yeah, it had to fall on me. Now, I done what I could in terms of the physical, But me and Roshan, we created a bond on many different levels. We, again, with the mental, we've done a lot of mental work together, a lot of meditation. We've done some plant medicine. We've done a lot of spiritual stuff together. And I was with Roshan every single weekend until I moved to Spain. So you're talking years of studying quantum biology, understanding toxins, understanding different systems, specifically the nervous system, which is essentially, makes everything else work in the body. Then working on things like our digestion, because her food and her energy was something that was going all the time. She had low energy. Motor neuron disease affects different people differently, and it's a blessing and a curse, because you can get lucky or you can get unlucky. Roshan got quite lucky. Like, she's still alive now, 7 years later, 7 years, 1 month later, she's still alive now, and she's still talking just about, and she's still walking just about. But she's still fighting the disease. And Roshan's a fighter herself, I'm not taking any credit there, but I definitely helped in ways that a lot of people that don't have the information and didn't do the work wouldn't have been able to help. Now, that's my personal life. Now, if you think that's what I went through myself, my family, we're still going through it, and I'm a coach. You look at society, obesity, overweight through the roof, mental health worse than it's ever been, addictions on the rise, sense of well-being and vitality going, masculinity essentially being abolished. I'm looking at this and I'm being, whoa, everything that I've studied for pretty much my whole life, intensely for the last 7 years, and I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. When COVID hit, I started up a new business. Obviously, gyms all closed. That was me doing on the gym floor. I was working with a client, a mentor, and we set up an online coaching platform that was for business to business. But I burnt out because I was going through a lot. Obviously, I lost a job. I loved the gym, lost the gym. I had obviously the family situation with Roshan. I broke up with a long-term girlfriend, and I just wasn't feeling good in myself at that time. So I decided to stop that business, fold that down, and then I moved to Spain. Moving to Spain was very difficult because, again, I had to leave Roshan, leave my family. But she was actually the number one motivator to get me to go here, because she knew that I wasn't feeling great, and I needed a fresh start in my own life to kind of help me create something that's bigger, better than me. All the experience that I got on the gym floor, all the experience that I got on a personal level with helping my sister, and then my own passion for this needed me to kind of get my own space, formulate my ideas, do a lot of reflection, spend a lot of time alone, and then I came up with the Bodyful. And the Bodyful is body plus mindful. You put them together and you get Bodyful. That's a 360 holistic approach to wellness, because everything is connected. I can promise you this, from everything that I've studied, I realized that everything is connected. The number one principle of everything is the laws of nature. Humans, we are just one species, okay? And yes, we have, I think it's our neocortex that enables us to reflect and enables us to hold memories, and we can evolve at a rapid rate. But unfortunately, we can all think we know it all. We are just one species of thousands, hundreds of thousands in the universe. The laws of the universe are our foundation. And for me, with my coaching now, everything goes back to the laws of the universe, the laws of nature, and this is the holistic, optimal health that I follow. Anytime that I have an issue with something, I go back to the laws of nature. Is this in agreement with the laws of nature? I'm not going to get into too much, but that's essentially how I reflect and ask and challenge and question myself. I go back to the laws of nature and I see, is there any correlation? How do these match up? And if they don't match up to the laws of nature, I start to question and worry about it pretty quick. Like I said at the start of this episode, I have 2 missions. My first mission is to live to 100, healthy in mind, body and soul. So being 100% at 100, that's the goal. And then my second mission, that's my second mission is my professional mission, which is to help 100 million people, and doing that through health and fitness. So this is a very ambitious goal. I have my own kind of roadmap of how I'm going to get there. And for the next 5 years, that's all about online coaching and becoming the best online coach. Again, like I said earlier, earning my stripes on this whole new platform. If you asked me 3-5 years ago to jump on this, do a podcast like this, do a show like this, I'd just say no, because I would have been overridden by fear, judgment, didn't want to expose myself, vulnerability. Even this episode is the hardest episode I've done. But in order for me to reach that mission, in order for me to try to reach that mission, I need to start taking control and creating content, creating media. And over the last, I think, few months, year, just over a year now, of taking social media a lot more serious, getting there slowly but surely. Still kind of don't like it, but we're getting there. And my goal is to, hopefully in the near future, create content that is packed with value to really help you get a lot for free from the Bodyful. The Bodyful will grow bigger than just me, but at the moment it is just me working here. I am the marketer, the developer, the website builder, the content creator, the coach. It's just a one-man show at the moment. I'm absolutely certain that we live in the best time ever. There's no other time that is better than today, and we will find solutions to get people right back into our best physical, mental and spiritual health ever. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that, and I want to help, like I said, 100 million people. So it's good for me to get this off my chest. I hope now that you have a better idea of who I am, where I was and where I am going. Bodyful listeners, we ain't quitters. So hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.